Welcome to Align Trading, going over today's SPY recap and live analysis. So first thing that I explained in the morning in the pre-market brief for Discord members was to be watching for the purple buying continuation as we had the gap up. And you see right here, we had this off of this inverse head and shoulder. However, we could not get this continuation within the purple right here. And you see that we start to form this head and shoulder rejection right here at this level, like I explained, as well as watching this inverse cup starting to close right here and breaking out of the green and white algos right here that we have been looking for the past couple of days. You can see the past few days, right? We've tried, but we have been unable to, and we were finally able to close the cup at this 557.37 level. If you watched yesterday's video, you would have understood how I explained right here. We needed to see that below if we were going to do this yesterday, and instead it took us one more day, and now you see how we close that at this 557.37 level, right? And then we form this handle off of that cup and continue moving down. Now, the other important thing you had to be understanding today was this 5-day moving average, which was around this area right here during the day, and you can see how we formed that handle and head and shoulder off of it within this inverse cup, giving us this move down within the orange selling continuation right there. You see the first leg down that we had in the morning, and then we build this handle within the green right there, and you see how we reject that 5-day moving average. I will show you on the 1-minute chart as well. Now on the 1-minute chart, going over the microstructure and trades. So you can see for the first 15 minutes, we had this chop. And then at 9:45 with that PMI news, we got our first reaction and we started to sell off. Now, if you were taking calls right here, you had to have been looking for this inverse head and shoulder, this cup and handle right there, and you see that we were never able to form it and instead got this rejection along with the green and white algos right here. So you see that rejection off of this head and shoulder along with that inverse cup and this small handle right in there, and you could have taken that as your first entry to the downside. Now, after this first move down right here, I explained if you are still looking for this just to be a pullback and not a sell-off, well, then we need to see this inverse head and shoulder starting to form right here and a cup fill back up to this level, and from there, well, then we can push out. Otherwise, you have to be watching the white and green once again, and you see how we form this along with this beautiful head and shoulder. Now we form this cup, and once again needs to build another handle, form another cup, and then once again another head and shoulder with another inverse cup and that handle right there. So you really do have to look deeper and see what's going on here because these are viable scalps. You just have to protect as the structure demands. So you see this head and shoulder right here. You see that smaller inverse cup and that handle for the shoulder. Now, if you took that scalp, once you got this candle right here, you must protect because that is the close of another inverse cup. Now from there, you will look for that handle once again, right? So if you saw that handle right here, you could have added more, but your runners are protected now. Now, like I'm saying with your runners, after you took that entry, well, you really should not have gotten stopped out because right here you would have seen this shoulder forming once again, and you could have let them still be running. Maybe you added some more right here, but you have to protect at that inverse cup, taking some more profits off, and then from there you're waiting for that handle once again. So right here, if you see that form, well, we're looking for this dump, but it's not always going to happen off the first or the second one. So that is why it is important to manage your risk and trade the correct way, getting good entries, because if you had a good entry, you would have seen, that you did not get stopped out, and this handle just required a bit more, giving you opportunity to see this larger structure forming right here. It gives you another beautiful cup and handle, and once again, that entry for this move down. Now, what you also had to understand here as well is we were trying to form this shoulder below that 560.77 level. Like I mentioned, you have to be watching for this right here. And you see how we finally do that, making this head and shoulder. And this move right here was the move that broke through the moving average. Where it happened was right here. This is where the moving average was. But once again, right, if you missed this entry right here, well, there is another one, this perfect head and shoulders off of the white algorithm once again, and another entry right there. So plenty of opportunities to the downside right here. Now, once we reached that 5-day moving average, like we were looking for, I explained to be watching for the handle. And you can see right here, we almost reached it and tried to form it right here. However, we could not hold below that 557.37 level. And instead, we start to form this support right here with this inverse head and shoulder. But this is still a handle. It is just a larger one. And you can see how the green and white form it right here. And this moving average, we formed that head and shoulder that I was mentioning, along with this inverse cup and handle once again to the downside right here. Now, when we did not form the handle right here, as well as say right here, and it looked like we were possibly trying to head back up, well, there's no reason to chase this to the upside. I explained if we closed this cup right here and formed a handle, well, then you could consider it then. But until then, be looking for that 5-day moving average and us to form a larger structure off of it. And you see that final result. Now, with this move up right here, you can also see how I explained we were forming that handle I mentioned in the beginning of the video right here. You can still see this is that inverse cup, and you cannot be chasing the reversal until you see the confirmation. So if we closed right that cup back above and started to form this, well, then we can continue higher. Otherwise, you have to be watching for this level to be that shoulder, as well as that inverse cup and handle that you see forming right here. Now, once again, another opportunity, right? If you missed it, I explained here to watch for this handle once again, and you see how we form that head and shoulder, as well as that inverse cup and handle right there for once again another move to the downside. Now, at the end of the day here in this chop, I explained the last two structures to be watching for would either be this inverse head and shoulder, and to see us close this cup back to that 5-day moving average where it would be safety. Otherwise, you could see this inverse cup starting to form right here, and you see how we close it and we try to form this handle, and there is a move down, but it's towards the last few minutes of the day, and we never get to see the continuation below that level. So now I'm going to go over what to be watching tomorrow. And if you do not know, it is an important day. We have Powell speaking in the morning. So be ready for this and understand that there is going to be volatility. Now, just before diving into the charts, I want to clarify something as well, because we all see the clowns on the internet who, Powell's going to do this, he's going to say this tomorrow, and this is going to happen. He's not confirming anything. He may simply allude to something or give clues, but he is not going to confirm it. That will be at the interest rate decision in September. So just understand that. Trade off the chart. Do not trade off of simply what he is saying. That would never be the wise case to do. Now, for what matters, the chart here. So you can see, right, how we are forming this inverse cup right here that we've been looking for. We have reached this 5-day moving average, and we are now below it. So in the morning, what you can be watching for is if we do form this right here and something back above that 5-day moving average, we still can be within this yellow and blue controlled selling right here and easily grab that liquidity on the way back up. Now, if this 5-day moving average becomes resistance, right, well, we will look for something like this, another handle, and we want to see us breaking out of this white and grabbing this shoulder right here. You can see how that head and shoulder is forming this inverse cup and handle. And if that happens, well, there is this gap below, and we can look to close this inverse cup down to this level. This 20-day moving average is within range as well. Now, if I zoom out some more, you can see that we can afford to see a pullback here, even if we do get this retracement. We can build something like this if we start to head back up into next week. You have to understand that Nvidia earnings is next week as well, and this could be a good spot for a pullback if we do want to form that handle before we break out of the highs right here, or if we are headed down and say this is the top, well, then we could be looking for this head and shoulder, and we want to be seeing that inverse cup close to that 20-day moving average, seeing that handle off of it, and then from there continuing back down to close this larger one. Obviously, this will not happen all in one day, but this is just giving some more insight to what is going on right here and the longer term vision. And then here on the daily chart, you see how with this 5-day moving average, we did not reach this upper Bollinger target. But if we do form resistance off of it, well, then we can head down and be looking for this 20-day moving average retest if, say, there is some sort of flag before we head back up and try to break out of this cup. So just be paying attention to that. You can see how it looks like we are possibly tapering, and we might see this downside move to fill that gap, and then from there get some sort of reversal like that. Be paying attention to this level right here, as that is important. So all that being said, trade safe tomorrow. Understand that there will be volatility. Understand what you're looking for in the 5-day moving average as well as the structure, and you will be fine. But thank you everyone for watching, and I will see members in the morning.